One day while on a day trip, Sandra and I was visiting the Bunker Hill Covered Bridge in Catawba County. We noticed a peculiar looking symbol with a sign that read Carolina Thread Trail just underneath it. Now, being an avid hiker, I looked into it and learned that it was a regional network of connected greenways, trailways, and blueways that reaches 15 counties in 2 states, and that it was still growing with new trails being added. I had always wanted Sandra to hike with me and thought that this may be just the thing, so after looking at the website, we both set out to complete every single thread trail. So grab your gear and come along with us as we set out to hike or paddle every thread trail and learn with us about the history, the geology, and people of these areas. I'm sure there will never be a dull moment.
God, look at this. I thought there was a rock behind me.
Looks like this might be bear tracks. The area includes a network of over 5 miles of trails through the wilderness area and around Lake Corriher and Lake Landis. Fishing passes as well as campsite rentals are available for a fee at the Town of Landis General Store, where the snacks, bathrooms, and handicap parking are located. Disc golf and kayaking will be available in the future to add to the activities offered. Lake Corriher Wilderness Area Facebook page makes it very obvious that the entire area is enjoyed by all surrounding residents, whether it be hiking, mountain biking, or camping. The fishing with a permit can hook largemouth and smallmouth bass and crappies. At this time, fishing passes may be purchased at the park office at Lake Corriher. A valid North Carolina fishing license is required to fish. The length of the trail is 0.7 miles one way. Park hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. April 1st through September 30th, 8 a.m. through 5 p.m. October 1st through March 31st. Okay, before I show you exactly how we did the hike, if you'll look at this overview here, you'll see 2 lakes. Now, the hike that we did is over on the right-hand side. You got Lake Corriher on the left-hand side, and that is not part of the Carolina Thread Trail. I don't know why they didn't connect this along with that, but they didn't. But there are all types of trails that jets off of this area. And so I wasn't aware of how many trails they had until I actually got to looking at what they had here. And but they really have a lot to offer. It seems to be a pretty good place as far as, you know, just taking a day trip with your family. They just have a lot to offer. But at any rate, this is both lakes, and so you can hike in both of these areas. And so they have a kiosk that shows a pretty good detailed trail area for you to follow along with. And they also have those at that general store also. You'll see that in the general store in the video. But looking at the map here, right down here at the bottom of the right-hand screen, this is where Kimball Road is. You'll pretty much, if you're coming from China Grove on Main Street, you'll see you'll pass a food line on your right-hand side. Just go past the food line, and Kimball Road will be just past that. And so, but what you'll do is you'll come up Kimball Road, and you won't go far. And this Lake Corriher Wilderness area is on the left-hand side. Across the street is the library. And so, but what you'll do is you'll come in there, and there's 2 big parking areas that you could park at. And so, but this is just, again, this is an overview of what you'll see. Now, that general store that I was talking about is in this area right here. It's like a little visitor center general store, and you can buy stuff and stuff like that. So you get a map. Now, the trail that I'm speaking about here, they don't have any markings showing that it is the Carolina Thread Trail. I don't know if this is because it's a trail in the working, but they do have it on the Carolina Thread Trail site. but they do not have any of these type of markings that you'll usually see in my videos, and you'll usually see on these trails. And so what you see here are different types of markings that you'll see as far as at the trailhead. Usually they'll have these type of markings at the beginning of it, or somewhere where the trailhead is usually located. And so but again, you won't see anything like this on this trail here at the time of this recording of this video. I didn't see anything like that. But this emblem here that you'll see, this little flower looking emblem, what it actually is the Carolina Thread Trail logo was inspired by one of the oldest traditional quilt patterns, the 8-pointed star. In quilts, a variety of shaped and colored fabrics come together to form a vibrant and harmonious whole, the individual pieces held together simply by thread. Additionally, this compass-like symbol with north and south accentuated to represent both Carolinas, North and South Carolina, is symbolic of adventure and exploration. And so this right here actually came from the Carolina Thread Trail website, and so that's what that emblem represents when you see that. Okay. Now, looking at the map here, we parked up in this area, and what you'll do is you'll start the trail here. Now, that kiosk that I was telling you about that has that map is right in here. Let's go ahead and go to that kiosk real quick. That's this right here, and this is the lake, the Landis Lake. This is where we hiked at, and this is Lake Corriher. Now, if you'll notice, they have all this marked pretty good, where the restroom's at, the shelter, info kiosk. They got one here and then one over here, I guess right before you get to Lake Corriher. And then it shows you where your location is. And so I actually took a picture of the one that is at the beginning of the Landis Lake one, and then it tells you about the different trails and stuff. Now, all these little red looking markers here, these are the trails, the different trails that jet out from this area, and there's a bunch of them. There's a whole lot to offer. And when we were there, we saw a guy fishing, and he caught a lot of bass. I was very impressed with this guy's catch, and so were other people, because I heard him making mention of it. But he was over here at the Landis Lake, and he caught himself a bunch of bass. And so, they, like I said, it's a really nice area to hike, and so, but at any rate, guys, let's go back over to that picture again. What we did is we started here, and we came around, and we stopped at the general store because I wanted some information, because I didn't see anything as far as the Carolina Thread Trail markers or anything like that. So I went and talked to the young lady about that, and she gave me a map of the overview of both lakes. But in a nutshell, after I talked with that young lady, I got back on the trail, and we hiked over, and there's a huge area right in this generalized area. You'll see that on the video, and it is really neat. It is really neat. It's a great place to have a picnic and for kids to play and stuff like that. Got rocks to sit on. It just really is a real nice spot to hang out. But we got back on it, and then we came back around, and there's another little waterfall that you'll see. Well, not like a waterfall, but just water coming off some rocks. It wasn't real big, but it was a nice little area, and you'll see that on the video. But around this area here, you need to use real caution whenever you're whenever you got kids, because there is a drop off over this area here, and it looks to be about a good 10-foot drop, at least, at minimum, at least a 10-foot drop, but it could be larger than that. But pretty much, if you do fall off of that, you're going to fall in the creek. And but you just use caution if you got small kids, that they don't play around the edge of that trail too much, because there's nothing really much going to stop them going over that edge there. And so but that may be something they may be working on in the future. But you know, it does have a drop off, and that goes along the entire length of this side here. You can see where the creek goes at. It's real close to that trail. And so other than that, it's a really nice trail to hike. Like I said, there's a lot to offer. The dogs enjoyed it. But At any rate, guys, let's go ahead and let's get started with the video so you can actually see what we saw, okay?